Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Krupata Maham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarine Hare Krishna. Today we are going to start a new chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. So, just a background why this conversation has gone to this direction. In the last verse of the last chapter, Krishna says to Arjuna about the who is the best among the yogis. So he says, a yogi who worships him with faith and who always thinks of him, means always thinks of Krishna and renders transcendental service to him, is best among the yogis. So then now the question comes, okay, how to do this? So one way of doing this is through the yoga ladder, that slowly go to the Dhyan yoga, and from Dhyan yoga understand the super soul and then start serving. This is one way. And now Krishna explains another way which is more um, feasible or doable. So that explanation, Krishna starts from this chapter and it goes till the 12th chapter, and these are called the Bhakti Yoga explanation. So let us see this shloka. This is one of the important shloka, which is the transition shloka from the Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga on to the Bhakti Yoga. And this purport is also long, so maybe we'll see today the shloka, read the purport, and maybe we will discuss little bit today and little tomorrow if everybody is okay. So let's see the shloka. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Asakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Mad Ashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasasi Tashunu. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Ya Asakta Manaha Partha
Maya Sakta Manapatha
Yogam Yunjan Mad Ashraya
Yogamunjan Madashraya
Samshayam Samagramam
Asanshayam Samagram Mam
Yatha Jnasasi Tashunu.
Yatha Gyasyasi Tachrinu.
Please chant.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Sakta Manapatha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asanshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasayasi Tachrinu.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Shakta Manapartha Yogam Yunjan Madasriyaha Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yata Jnasyasi Tachrunu.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Mad Asraya Asamsayam Samagramam Yatha Gyasyasi Tachunu.
Okay, so you can see the translation and purport. The purport is long, but let's see. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Prutha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." This is what the last verse of the sixth chapter said, that think of me, mind attached to me, and render service unto me. So now Krishna is explaining how this can be done. Listen here from me. Purport. In the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulence is described herein. Also, four kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and four kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yoga. At the end of the sixth chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is the ultimate knowledge beyond any doubt. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyotir and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness in yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entity, the material nature, and their manifestation with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the sixth chapter. Concentration of mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tashrunu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly, and or from pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the second chapter of first canto as follows. I will read the translation. To hear about Krishna from the Vedic literature, or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita, is itself righteous activity. For one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness and becomes enlivened by devotional service and understand the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamshayam Samagram, understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 1.2, 17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. So, as we were discussing, this is the transition verse. And it takes the discussion to much deeper level, and also from the external to the internal. Until now, Krishna was mostly talking about because of the different yogas in which the main focus was controlling the mind and becoming equal to everyone, becoming equal to animals, becoming equal to humans, looking at the soul, presence of the Paramatma. So it was focusing mostly in this direction, and then um, controlling the mind through with this focus. But now the direction is how to engage the mind instead of trying to control, is how to direct it and engage in. So Krishna is telling Tashrunu, please listen from me, because if I have to know something about someone, I have to ask that person directly. If I asked persons around him, they may not give the perfect representation of that person. So it's always better to ask that person. So whenever we have some issues or anything, it's always recommended that you talk to the person, so that person can tell the truth. So Krishna is saying, please listen that from me. And this listening is very important in the devotional service. So Krishna here emphasizes the listening process also. So if Arjuna and we listen from Krishna, then we will understand how all this can be done. So if you see, the verse itself is Maya Asakta. So if mind is attached, Mana Maya Asakta Mana Partha. So if the mind is attached to Krishna, Yogam Yunjam Madashraya. So by practicing this, by what practicing? Asakta Mana, practicing this, what happens? Madashraya. You become conscious of me, you start thinking of me. Uh, Asamshayan, by thinking of me, without any doubt, samagram, without doubt or without any question, you will completely live in with me or think of me or always with me. Yatha gyasesi tashrunu. So this is how you can do that. So this is the progressive path, right? So once first you get attached, the mind get attached to Krishna, Mai. So Krishna, you get so attach your mind to me. By attaching your mind to me in this yoga practice, take shelter of me, uh, and become fully conscious of me. And by becoming fully conscious of me, without any doubt, you will live with me, you will be completely in me. And by the how this can be done, listen from me. So this is a progressive path how we can do. And this is how Krishna was explaining that mind attached to me with faith, do the devotional service. He is the perfect yogi. So Krishna is telling. So now Krishna is telling, see the main one, mana asakta manaha partha. So here Krishna is not telling about controlling the mind, right? That was being described till now. Now the discussion is engage the mind, attach the mind. So it's not detachment. Now Krishna is talking about attaching the mind, right? So this is the transition, that now Krishna is telling how you can attach the mind into me. Because why it is important? Because once you attach your mind into me, then you will take shelter of me, you will become conscious of me, and you will live in me. And this is the sorry, this is what the perfect yogi is, right? So uh, in these chapters from 7 to 11, the same process will be explained by Krishna. So this is the alternative process, we can say, like doing the karma yoga, then nishkam karma yoga, then taking the knowledge. After taking the knowledge, starting the dhyan yoga, then understanding Paramatma, and then starting the devotional service. So this is a gradual process, step by step, step by step. But here Krishna is directly telling by attach your mind unto me, and by attaching the mind to me, you will always live with me, you will be conscious of me, and so you will achieve everything by attaching the mind. So what Krishna was telling in the sixth chapter, if your mind becomes your friend, so this is how Krishna is telling how your mind can become your friend. By attaching it to me, it will be with me. So then it becomes uh, your friend. And Krishna is telling asamshayam. This is without doubt, this is the correct process. So this verse, that's why this verse is always discussed or quoted in several lectures. And the seventh chapter, which is Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, Krishna describes how knowledge about him is important. Why who can gain this knowledge? After gaining the knowledge, also who surrenders unto him, who don't surrender unto him. So this chapter is actually becoming, uh, we can say, more of a positive representation. Instead of what to avoid, it's saying what to do. Mm. And by doing this attachment, you can attain the same results that were explained till now. Mm. So this reference of the Bhagavatam is also the almost the same concept, that once you attach your mind, and when with attached mind you serve the do the devotional service, then you will be remove all your anarthas, and when your anarthas are removed, then your bhakti yoga starts, and by when you do bhakti yoga, then you attain the supreme uh, goal. So this is what, because our time is finished. If, but this is how this verse is important. And now Krishna will explain more details about, because the chapter's name is knowledge of the absolute. So he has to explain why we have to take this knowledge, what is the importance of the knowledge, what happens when we take this knowledge, and who takes this knowledge, who don't take this knowledge. All these details has to be explained. Because still this the tendency of our mind is, still we know in depth, our mind never accepts it. That's the problem of the mind. So now Krishna will try to explain all those details, and we will see all those details along this seventh chapter. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Oh, 51. So any comments or any additions or request, then we can have few minutes. Shuvataam Sukatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Ridi Antastodia Vidunoti Surta Satam. Okay, Hare Krishna. So let's see why this knowledge is important tomorrow. Thank you very much.